Unit 2, Wit and Humour, poem A Funny Man, question answers from grade 7th, subject English, book Poorvi. Let us do these activities before we read. Look around you for things or people that make you laugh. Write them in the bubbles given below. Share the reasons for your answers with your classmates and the teacher. First, my pet dog Simba. He chases his own tail and slips on the floor. It's so funny that we all start laughing. My little brother. He makes silly faces when he's upset and ends up making us laugh instead of getting angry. Dad's old jokes. My dad tells the same jokes again and again. They are so bad that they become funny. Cartoon characters. Their actions are silly and unexpected. They don't even need to speak to make me laugh. My friend Vaibhav in class. He always cracks harmless jokes during break time and even makes the teachers giggle. Funny YouTube shorts. I watch short clips where people fall in slow motion or say weird things with filters. They make me laugh instantly. So friends, you can note it down. You can write your pet's name here, like I have written Simba. You can also write my little sister. You can also write mom's old jokes. You can write your friend name here. I have written mine, Vaibhav. Let us discuss. First, work in pairs. Identify the true statements. Check your answers with the teacher. First, the poet says that she had never heard such an amusing song. Answer: true. The poet says she had never heard such an amusing song. Second, the funny man was quite ill-mannered. False. The funny man was polite, not ill-mannered. Third, the funny man wore two hats on his feet. True. He wore two hats on his feet. Fourth, the funny man hopped on his head to reach home. True. He hopped home on his head. Fifth, the funny man gave a rose to the poet. False. He gave a currant bun pretending it was a rose. Sixth, the funny man smiled at the poet. True. He smiled politely at the poet. Second, identify the words from the poem based on the meanings given. Share your answers with your classmates and the teacher. First, a small seedless raisin. Answer: current. Second, moved unsteadily. Answer: staggered. Third, complete the following sentences with a reason. First, the tone of the poem is humorous because it describes silly and absurd events in a light-hearted way. Second, the rhyme scene of the poem is AB, AB, and it gives a playful musical quality to the poem. Third, the poet has frequently repeated the word funny in order to emphasize the silliness and absurdity of the man's appearance and actions. Fourth, choose the correct answer from the options given in the brackets. First, the poem uses vivid imagery to create a humorous and nonsensical scene. Second, the structure of the poem is in dialogue form. Third, the phrases sounding sight and hopped home are examples of alliteration. Fifth, rewrite the following line from the poem in the correct order. First, but never had I seen before such a funny sounding sight. Sometimes the poets change the word order inversion in a line in order to maintain a rhythm. Correct order: I had never seen such a funny sounding sight before. Poets sometimes flip words inversion to preserve rhyme, rhythm, or emphasis. Second, why has the poet used phrases like funny sounding sight and funny feeling sound with reference to the funny man? Answer: the poet uses funny sounding sight and funny feeling sound to create a playful, surreal, and humorous effect, making the readers feel the absurdity of the man's behavior. Sixth, can you think of any real world situations where people do similar things for fun, entertainment, or performance? Share with your classmates and the teacher. Answer: real world examples: clowns wearing oversized shoes or hats, circus performers juggling while talking silly, children dressing in mismatched clothes for fun, fancy dress competitions, example wearing hats on feet, social media content creators doing silly stunts. Let us think and reflect. First, read the extracts given below and answer the questions that follow. First, he said, "Allow me to present your highness with a rose," and taking out a currant bun, he held it to my nose. I staggered back against the wall and then I answered well. First, why does the funny man address the poet as your highness? Answer: he calls the poet your highness to seem grand, polite, and extra formal, adding to the absurd humor. Second, choose a phrase from the extract which indicates a polite request. Answer: the phrase "allow me to present" indicates a polite, formal request. Third, choose the option which shows a currant bun. Image 2 is of currant bun. This one. Image 1 is of bread. Image 3 is of donut and image 4 is of loaf. Fourth, complete the sentence with an appropriate reason. When the poet says, "well," it expresses surprise. This was so because he expected a rose but got a currant bun instead. Second, you never heard in all your life such a funny feeling sound. "My friend, why do you wear two hats upon your feet?" I said. He turned the other way about and hopped home on his head. First, choose the line from the extract which tells us that the sound was unique. Answer: the line "you never heard in all your life such a funny feeling sound" tells us the sound was unique and unusual. Second, complete the sentence with an appropriate reason. The poet calls the funny man my friend because she finds him amusing and non-threatening. Third, what does the reaction of the funny man to the poet's question tell us about him? Answer: the man's reaction, turning away and hopping on his head, shows he is playful, unconventional, and doesn't explain himself. He just acts more oddly. Fourth, choose the correct option to complete the sentence. The last line of the extract makes the readers feel D. cheerful. Second, answer the following questions. First, which character trait of the funny man was most appealing to you? Why? Answer: the playful silliness appeals most. He is imaginative, polite, and carefree. Second, the funny man does unusual things in the poem. How does it affect the overall mood of the poem? Answer: his actions create a light, humorous, and whimsical mood throughout the poem. Third, what alternative title would you suggest for the poem? Give reasons for your choice. Answer: alternative title suggestion: The Silly Gentleman, because he is polite yet very silly. Upside Down Man, reflecting his upside down behavior. Fourth, why do you think the poet has included dialogues in the poem? Answer: dialogue makes the poem more interactive, lively, and engaging, helping readers visualize the conversation and silliness. Fifth, what does the poet wish to convey by highlighting the unusual behavior of the funny man? Answer: by highlighting the man's unusual behavior, the poet wants to show the joy and fun in imagination and a reminder to enjoy the playful side of life. Let us learn. Read the following phrases from the poem: walking down, taking out, sat down. These are phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs are combinations of a verb with a preposition or adverb that together function as a single unit. They often have meanings that are different from the individual words used alone. The same verb followed by different prepositions or adverbs conveys different meanings. First, match the phrasal verbs in column 1 with their correct meaning in column 2. Column 1, first, take up, to begin, to study, practice or do something. Second, take after, to resemble or look similar to, usually a family member. Third, take in, to understand or comprehend something. Fourth, take over, to assume control or responsibility for something. Fifth, take off, to become successful or popular quickly. So I wish NCERT Hindi tutor will take off in future. Now, fill in the blanks with suitable phrasal verbs from the table given in first. You may change the tense of the verb if required. First, The new technology is said to take over traditional methods of communication. Second, I tried hard to take in what the writer wanted to say but was unsuccessful. Third, Arjun decided to take up painting as a hobby. Fourth, the smartphone quickly took off the sales in the market. Fifth, Sheila takes after her father. They have the same smile. Second, match the verbs in column 1 with any suitable adverbs or prepositions in column 2. Write their meanings in column 3. An example has been done for you. Answer. Like first, look, look after, take care of. Now, frame sentences of your own using any 5 phrasal verbs. Answer. Column 1, look. Column 2, after, phrasal verb, look after, meaning, take care of. Next, run, out, phrasal verb, run out, means, deplete, have none left. Next phrasal verb, put off, means, postpone. Next phrasal verb, break down, means, stop functioning, collapse emotionally. Next phrasal verb, call in, means, summon, ask someone to come, often by phone. Now, frame sentences of your own using any 5 phrasal verbs. Answer. Sentences with 5 phrasal verbs. We need to look after our neighborhood's cat while she is away. I have run out of printer paper. Can you buy some? Please don't put off your assignment until the last minute. My car broke down on the highway yesterday. The manager called in extra staff for the busy holiday weekend. So friends, you can note it down. Now let's move forward. Third, read the following words from the poem. Walking, staggered, hopped. The given words denote the different ways of walking. Arrange the words given in the box in increasing order of pace. Sprint, trot, jog. So friends, first jog, second trot, and third sprint. Let us listen. First, you will listen to a girl narrate a personal incident. As you listen, select the picture related to the narration. Transcript for the teacher on page 88. So friends, let's read the transcript. Hello. This is quite a funny incident. One day I was so preoccupied with preparing for my presentation. After a long day of studying at a friend's place, I finally came home. Exhausted, I removed my shoes at the door and headed straight to the kitchen. For some lunch, I served myself dal chawal and ate it, still thinking about all the topics I needed to cover. Once I finished my lunch, I got up to put my shoes away in my room and placed my plate in the kitchen. However, being so preoccupied, I ended up doing the opposite. I walked to my room with my plate in hand and left it on my desk. Then, I took my shoes and placed them in the kitchen. As I stood there confused, I realized what I had done. I couldn't help but laugh at myself. I shook my head, recovered my shoes from the kitchen, and kept the plate in the kitchen. So friends, the correct picture is third. This one. Second, you will once again listen to the girl narrate a personal incident. As you listen, arrange the events in order of occurrence. So friends, first is prepared for the presentation. Next, took off shoes. Next, ate lunch. Next, placed the plate in the room. Next, laughed at the mistake. Next, put shoes in the room. Next, put the plate in the kitchen. Next, let us speak. Read the joke given below. A man is talking to God. The man says, God, how long is a million years? God replies, for me, it's about a minute. The man asks, how much is a million rupees? God smiles and replies, it's less than a rupee for me. The man quickly requests, God, may I have a rupee? God promptly says, wait a minute. Work in pairs and take turns to tell the joke. Remember, narrator's voice, your own voice, speak in a matter-of-fact manner. Man's voice, change to louder voice, speak with respect. God's voice, deep voice, speak in a pleasant tone. Now, work in pairs to create a joke and tell it in front of the class. Answer. New joke. The student and the pencil. Narrator. A student was sitting quietly in the classroom. Student, loud and nervous. Oh no, I forgot my pencil. Friend, normal voice. No worries. Ask the teacher. Student, still nervous. Ma'am, may I borrow a pencil? Teacher, deep and pleasant voice. Sure, but remember to return it before the exams in 2030. Everyone laughs because the teacher is joking that the student takes a long time to return things. Next, let us write. First, a limerick is a nonsensical and funny verse consisting of 5 lines. Study the limerick given below and identify the rhyme scene. First, there was an old man with a beard who said, "It is just as I feared. 2 owls and a hen, 4 larks and a wren have all built their nest in my beard." Edward Lear. Now read another limerick. Second, there were 2 friends in Bengaluru's lanes. One loved books, the other flew planes. They'd laugh and they'd play in their own unique way, creating stories and flying in dreams trains. Remember, all limericks have the same rhyme scene AAPBA. Second, follow the structure given below and write a limerick on your own. Answer. There was a child from Kanpur who painted her cat with manure. She thought it looked nice, like sugar and spice, but the cat ran away with a roar. Structure breakdown. Line 1 sets up the character or place. There was a child from Kanpur. Line 2 to 4 tell the silly, funny part of the story. Line 5 delivers the punchline or surprise ending. Next, let us explore. First, in ancient Indian literature and mythology, there are several humorous or funny characters who play important roles in the stories. These characters often represent wit, humor, and mischief while conveying deeper moral lessons. Here are a few well-known funny characters: Tenali Rama, Birbal, Mulla Nazruddin, King Vikramaditya, and Betal. Take any story to read and share it with your classmates and the teacher. Answer. Tenali Rama. Story suggestion: The Mango Trick. How Tenali Rama outwits a greedy merchant by swiping mangoes. Look for his witty dialogues and clever twist. Second, Birbal. Story suggestion: Birbal and the 2 pots. How a simple test reveals who truly cares for the emperor's well-being. Focus on the playful puzzle and Birbal's wise punchline. Third, Mulla Nazruddin. Story suggestion: The donkey's shadow. Nazruddin tells a landlord that he can't sell his donkey's shadow without the donkey. Notice his deadpan logic and how he turns the tables. Fourth, King Vikramaditya and Betal. Story suggestion: One of the 25 Betal tales. Each ends with a riddle that Vikram must solve, only to be tricked again. Observe the blend of dark humor and moral lesson. Pick one. Jot down the setup, the funny twist, and the lesson it teaches, then present it in class. Okay friends, now let's move forward. Second, we can identify the acts of the funny man with certain modern day activities that have playfulness or unconventional behavior. For example, street performers or clowns. Like the funny man in the poem, modern day street performers or clowns often dress in unusual ways and do unexpected acts to entertain people. Performance art or abstract theatre. The funny man's actions, such as singing a song and hopping on his head, resemble performance art or abstract theatre, where artists break conventional rules to create thought-provoking, often humorous experiences. Next, children's entertainment and comedy shows. The funny man's behavior is reflected in children's show to evoke laughter. In these examples, the common theme is humor, imagination, and defying logic or expectation, which is exactly what the funny man in the poem represents. Third, Sukumar Rai, an Indian poet and illustrator, wrote poems in a similar style in his book Abol Tabol. You may also share a similar poem from your native language with your classmates and the teacher. Answer. A taste of Sukumar Ray's nonsense verse. Sukumar Ray's Abol Tabol is full of playful, topsy-turvy poems Here's a short excerpt in English translation that captures his style. There was a tiny man of Ghazipur whose beard grew so long it became a stair. He'd climb up each day to watch boys at play, then tumble down backward into thin air. Notice the AABBA rhyme, the absurd image, and the gentle twist at the end. Now, find one poem from Abol Tabol in Bengali or English translation, for example, Khichdi and Tabulobi, or share a nonsense poem from your own mother tongue, read it aloud, and see how its rhythm and surprises echo the funny man poem. Okay friends. So friends, we have completed all the question answers. From poem A Funny Man, we have also read the poem, its stanza-wise explanation, summary, moral and important word meanings. You can find the link in the description and on the screen. If you like the video, kindly like it and share it with your friends. Also subscribe to my channel. We will meet in the next video. Thank you for watching.